Starting where we left off last video, I continued my hike down historic Wilderness Road, walking in the footsteps of Daniel Boone. Section 7 of the Sheltowee Trace begins at Camp Wildcat Battlefield, covering 29 miles before concluding at the Kentucky 192 Trailhead. Shetland Creek is a mile or so along this road, but I would hesitate to drink from it without a water purifier, simply because I observed cattle on pasture right along this stream, so it could be contaminated. I definitely wouldn't risk using a Sawyer or Katahdin filter, but that's up to your own discretion. I reached Happy Hollow when my ride appeared to pick me up. I continued to follow historic Wilderness Road, a path made possible by Daniel Boone in 1775 for settlers to begin entering Kentucky. Today I'm hiking to the trail turnoff past the I-75 truck stop and diner, 3.6 miles away. When I reached US 25, I found the halfway point sign. A little ways up the road, I took a left onto Kentucky 909, crossing over Interstate 75 and continuing up the hill past the truck stop. It was a brisk morning, fall colors in full swing. I stopped a few times to enjoy the view along the ridge. Having reached the turnoff, I made plans to return early the next morning to continue my journey along the trace. Today I'll be hiking from the trail turnoff to the Somerset Rd Trailhead, 5.7 miles away. Eventually, I will reach Hawk Creek, which is the next water source listed approximately 4 miles in. I'm carrying 1 liter of water with me for today. It was a picturesque fall day. The wind fluctuated along the ridge, gusting at times, sending leaves flying everywhere. I paused often to soak it all in. A long, slow walk through the woods. Near Hawk Creek, I surveyed the temporary bridge and decided it wasn't for me, so I crossed through the water. The cold water ended up feeling really good on my feet while I took a short break. The trail went between the stream on my right and a huge rock wall to my left before climbing some steep switchbacks up the ridge. I took note of the way the sun filtered through the trees here. It was beautiful. Enjoying a final burst of color at the top of the ridge, the trailhead finally came into sight up ahead. I had definitely reached my limit for the day when I got up to the trailhead. I began the next morning by crossing Somerset Road, then Highway 80, which was pretty busy when I went through. Today I'm hiking to Bridge Rock Road, where the trail turns off toward Sinking Creek, 4.2 miles away. The first water source I reached was Poison Honey Creek, less than a mile in. I stepped to the side to let some dirt bikers through and continued up the hill until I reached a gravel road. At the mile-and-a-half point, the STA Campground appeared to my left. It's a dry campground, but there are some additional features you won't find stealth camping. I took a short break here out of the sun before continuing on. As the sun dipped, casting larger shadows, I picked up the pace along Bridge Rock Road. Today I'm doing an out and back hike to Sinking Creek, 1.6 miles away. A catastrophic tornado tore through the next part of trail back in May, basically flattening a wide path from Somerset through the London, Kentucky area. The Park Service website shows the trail closure from Sinking Creek to Vanhook Falls, which is approximately a 9.6-mile section of the trace. I've added it to my list to complete later when the trail reopens. For now, I'll do what I can by hiking what's clear up to that closure. I keep getting this uneasy feeling. It continues to grow the further up the trail I get. I've stopped and scanned a few times already, but my intuition is definitely letting me know something's wrong. What could it be? I feel reluctant to continue. This reminds me of my horse halting when he could sense something up ahead that I couldn't see yet. I'm walking along when I begin to feel like there's a gun trained at my head. Alarmed, I stop. Hey, what are you doing? Why are you pointing your gun at me? This is a hiking trail. There are signs posted every 15 to 20 feet stating that. You're making me nervous. I'm hiking. This is a national recreation trail. Yes? You're making me nervous being right on the edge of the trail, pointing your gun either direction. If I continue my hike and come back through here a little later, are you going to train your gun on me again? Something didn't seem right here, so I turned around and headed back to the road. I thought hunters are supposed to be a certain distance from recreational areas. I have zero trust in people who jeopardize others' safety. I mean, at least point your gun away from the trail or any area where people might pass through. One thing's for sure, my intuition was right. I should have turned back sooner. Today I'm hiking from Vanhook Falls to the Kentucky 192 Trailhead. a little under 2.5 miles away. Vanhook Falls is one of the larger waterfalls I've seen on trail. I'm really looking forward to the next sections of the trace to provide more waterfall action. This is an out and back hike due to the previously mentioned tornado closure. I found a nice bench overlooking the falls to take a break. Sent a message off to my husband letting him know I made it okay. The Cane Creek Gorge was yet another inviting view for a break. Today's hike would continue to impress over and over again. There are a couple rock scrambles coming up the hill. After you cross a small stream and turn the corner, look up the hill into the rock ledge to see Pounder Arch. I discovered some unnamed waterfalls along the trail here. Then I saw the bluest great blue heron I've ever seen in my life along Pounder Branch. Of course, I wasn't fast enough to catch it on camera before it retreated high up in the trees. Sorry I scared you, Mr. Heron. This concludes Section 7 of the Sheltowee Trace Trail. I'll see you in the next video.